In this section, we will be covering the database functions. The database functions are there in the maths and trigonometry function, or you can see in case of some functions, in case of more function is statistical functions. Okay, so even we have got some functions in the maths and trigonometry functions. So those starting with D, you can understand that majority of the functions that are starting with D are related to database functions. Okay. So some of the database functions are your D average, D count, D count A, D get, D max, D min, and D sum. Okay. These are all the database functions. So let's start looking at all the functions. Let's start with the D average function. Now D average function function examines a list of information and produces the average. Okay. The syntax for D-average function is equal to D-average. Okay. Then ask for the database. Okay, so let's have this as database. Then ask for the field. Okay, so then ask for the database. Say for example, let's calculate the unit cost. Okay. And then ask for the criteria. So we'll see the criteria for this particular brand. Okay. So the average is 1.24286 of the total unit cost. So if you see, its average is 1.35, but it is talking about this particular brand only. Okay. So when we have got average of the horizontal branch. Okay. So what is happening here, that we have got in the syntax, we have the database range, so it is the entire database, and then we have got the field name of which the we want the detail for, and then we have the criteria range, there we specify the criteria. That is how we get the use the function of the database average. Okay. So we can when the data are long or very large, okay, we can get the average of the functions that is of the values by using the average D average function, that is a database. Okay. The normal average function, or the mean, what we call in statistics, or we call it average, okay, is basically the average of all the things. Okay. Now we can also go for average if. Let me see if it is there. Yes, we have got average if. Then we define the range. Okay, and then we define the criteria. Okay, so criteria can be say for example, we want to go for the a particular value. Okay. So this is our range. This is our criteria. Say we are looking forward for sunbeam, and then we have got the average range. Let's see how it functions. Okay, it's giving the error. Average if, then we have the criteria, and then we have the average range. Okay, it is coming as 124. Now this is actually happening when we are using the average if function. Okay. So when we are doing any mathematical function, say for example, if we are working on sum, okay, we enter sum, we have got sum if, sum products, like functions. Okay. Similarly, in average also we have got average deviation, then average A, that is calculating the arithmetic mean of the argument, evaluating the false in the argument. only true argument as one, and the argument can be number and array on them. Then we have got average if, and then we have got average ifs. Okay, if we have got one condition, we will be using average if. Okay. If there are multiple conditions, then we will be using average ifs. Okay, now this is the function of average. Now the next function in database related function is the decount. Decount is actually counts the number of the particular criteria that is there in the database. Okay, all the functions related to daverage, decount, decountate, dget, dmin, dmax, dsum are all database function. Okay. So it's the syntax is quite simple. Okay, all we need is equal to decount. Okay. Then it will be asking for the your database. So this is our database. Okay. Then it's asking for the field. Okay, so let's go for wattage. Okay, and then we have the criteria. Let's put it as brand as criteria. Okay. So we have got 8 what is under your brand horizon. So if you see one horizon, two horizon, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we have got 8 as count. Okay, and anything other than 8 will be count A or count blank. Okay, so let's see count A. Okay, sorry, D count A. Okay, it will be asking as the entire database, then asking for the field, and then asking for the criteria. So we are getting decount and decount A as same values. Let's check. Okay. So we have got 1. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1 blank. That is 8. Okay. And at the same time for horizon, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So if we change the value from here from horizon to sunbeam, you get 7, 7. Okay, because we have got 7 sunbeams. This is will be counted in the blank. Okay, so we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then we have got blanks other than sunbeams. Okay, it is 7. Okay. That is how we use the decount and decount A function. Next function is your dget. So what we did for daverage, decount, decounting, that we were giving only one criteria. Okay. So one criteria, say for example, in this case, one criteria was the brand. Okay. When we have multiple criteria to check it for, okay, so we use dget function. Okay. So dget function basically checks into the entire database. Okay. You can again, I will say, you can also use the functions related to ifs. Okay, count ifs, then average ifs, in case if you are not comfortable by using database functions. Once you are comfortable with database function, you will find that working with the database function is quite easy comparative to writing long formulas related to ifs function. Okay. The syntax for dget function is dget. Okay, then we have to select the your database. Okay, and then the field we are looking forward for, say for example, boxes in the stock. Okay, and then we have got some criteria. Okay. So multiple criterias are there. Let's see what happens. Okay. So we have got 5. Okay. Now bulb with the wattage of 100 of brand horizon with life hours as maybe nil or not considerable. Okay. So that is we are getting as 5 in numbers. Okay. Let's check our database. So let's do one thing. Put a filter here. Okay. So what are the conditions? We have the product as the bulb, and then we have the wattage as 100, and then we have brand as horizon. So we have got 5 boxes in the stock. This is the function of your dget. Okay. In dget functions, when you are using, please remember when there is a collapse of two or two more brand or two or more criteria that is there, it will be producing your hash NA result. Okay. Say for example, since the life hours is not mentioned, let's clear the filter. Say for that, we calculate is as box quantity as 25. That's box quantity. It will be giving us the error because 25 is coming a number of times. Okay, so Excel is not able to identify what actually we are talking about. Okay, please always remember when we are doing the dget function. Okay. Dmin is more or less similar to what we have been doing in dcount. Okay, all we need is the minimum. We in dmin we get the minimum of the data, entire data, and in case of dmax we get the maximum of the data. In case of dsum, it's basically calculate the average total of all the sums. Okay, so for example, the syntax of dsum is similar to other database functions. Okay, so we have got the database. Okay. And then we have the fields. Let's say select value of the stock. Okay, and then we have to give the criteria. Say for example, our brand is horizon, so it is 248 the values of the stock. Okay, now if you want to see it, that what actually happened here, we have got the brand as horizon. Okay, and the sum of entire all the information is 248 coming down here. Okay, is equal to 248. So this is basically the it's as since the data that is shown here for practice purpose, it's very small to make you understand the data, because if we will be training you on a big or large database, it will be difficult for you to identify or get on the details. Okay. So that is why all the trainings usually takes place on a small database. Okay. So database functions are very useful when we are working with the large number of data. Okay, where there are n numbers of different rows and columns.